I did want to talk about the Snow White disaster because I think it's amazing in every
Yeah.
conceivable way. So I, I would argue, and coming from one of the perhaps most prolific clickbaiters in history. Now, I don't clickbait. I click exaggerate, maybe. I'd say that
Yeah.
maybe because I never lie. Clickbait, like people that
Right.
don't like my
Clickbait is
titles.
lying. Like if it says if they think they're gonna watch something that's not even in the video.
Right. Yeah. So I use exciting words to get people's attention, but I never lie about what's in the video,
Right.
which is why people might make fun of me for it, but they don't like leave the channel. If I was consistently lying all the time, like I don't know, some of
Yeah.
those guys, I won't put anyone on blast, but there's like a couple of comic book channels that just make stuff up. It's like, well, that's why
Right.
your channel's not growing.
Yep.
Once in a while you get a viral video and then everyone's like, oh wait, I've watched 5 videos from that guy and every single thing they've said is not true and has
Right.
never come true. Like, how many times has Kathleen Kennedy been fired according to some of these guys? 50?
Right.
Anyway, Israel on here's how we got here. Disney says we're going to remake Snow White. Why? Because a white person's in it.
Yeah.
And white people bad. So they remake it with a brown person who looks like a hammerhead shark. Some people say. Some people say, I'm not saying that.
Right.
Some people say she looks like a hammerhead shark. And of course, she's done nothing in her life. She's starred in no popular movies. The only mainstream movie she ever starred in was another remake
Yeah.
of what was the movie? It was some classic musical, right? It lost $200 million. I can't remember what it was. Everyone would know it. Brooklyn Heights? No, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Nobody saw it. It
Mhm.
lost like $200 million. So she stars in Hunger Games, which does okay. I think the remake like broke even.
Mhm.
It did okay.
Right.
So I have to give her credit for that. But then they put her in Snow White. The movie was West Side Story. Yeah. So she does that West Side Story, it loses 200 million. She breaks even on this other movie. Then Disney's like, yeah, why wouldn't we make her one of the most iconic princesses, or if not, maybe
Mhm.
maybe the most iconic Disney princess ever? What does she do on the first press tour? Takes a dump on the legacy, calls Prince Charming a creepy stalker.
Weird,
Yeah,
weird.
weird. And then and then on top of all of that, people can't accept the fact that Gal Gadot is supposed to be jealous of her looks because,
Mhm.
again, the aforementioned hammerhead shark. And
Yeah.
her biggest crime really is just being an unlikable twat.
Mhm.
Like that, I mean, this people like her, it's the era of the hammerhead. Halle Bailey has the
Yeah.
same thing. Like all the actresses you're going to see now have eyes that can sing, and they have eyes that are too far apart. That's the look.
And Hollywood has been trying to set her up to be the next it girl. She's had the opportunities there because how all of a sudden she's getting cast in
Everything, yeah.
Disney Snow White and this, that, and the other when she had nothing in her portfolio to justify that. So here she had the opportunity to really take off and be the next it girl, but her insufferable personality in the interviews, her honestly, she just seems super narcissistic. And so she's getting angry at the fans. She seems extremely jealous of Gal Gadot, even
Mhm.
making an Instagram post showing because she has to have seen the memes that are
Oh
saying,
yeah,
"Yeah, there's
yeah.
no way Gal Gadot is jealous of her beauty. Are you serious?" So she has to be seeing all this. So she makes an Instagram post with some selfies and says, "I'm the fairest, by the way."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, if you really thought that, you wouldn't have to say it. But it's just like it, it's just like reeks of narcissism. She can't handle that people think that Gal Gadot is more beautiful than her.
And don't never forget her line too, where she's complaining about getting more money. If I'm going to be dressed as an
Yeah.
iconic Disney princess for 50 hours, I should get paid
If
for
I'm
every minute it's
standing in a
screen.
dress for 8 hours a
Yeah,
day.
yeah. She is. it's wildly unlikable.
Well,
Okay.
and that's the thing is think about Kristen Stewart and her Snow White movie spinoff thingy. And there was
Yeah.
Charlize Theron, who
Yeah.
was the wicked queen, and
Yeah.
everybody was they were saying similar things like, wait, she's more beautiful than Kristen Stewart. But even as much as I can't stand Kristen Stewart, you didn't see the same her lashing
not
out
as
like
unlikable.
Rachel. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was smart enough not to act like a complete fool like Rachel Zegler has been.
Yeah, she's too busy banging her boss and cheating on absolute
I know.
absolute heartthrob Robert Pattinson. But like so she's just a twat, and like that's just her. Then
Right.
you take into the account that they tried to, instead of have dwarves, have 7 magical creatures, which got immediately roasted online, and they immediately pretended that it was just a weird promotional photo, which it wasn't.
Right. Yeah. Weren't they gonna have like there was even girls in there, all these like diverse, like this
Yeah.
DEI looking setup of
Yeah,
what
it was
looked
like a
bunch of
Walmart hiring poster.
it looked like a bunch of homeless people they found, and okay.
Yeah, they found a bunch of weird homeless people and trans people, and then they were like, "These are the new dwarfs," and people are like, what?" So then they're like, "Okay, well, we'll refilm it." By the way, this film's budget is nearly $400 million.
Wow.
So for those of you out there, the simple math is this movie will need to make nearly $1 billion to break even, because you hear a budget, like let's say the budget's 500 million, the movie theater gets half of what the box office gets. So if the box office makes $1 billion, then they make 500 million, they've broken even. That's the back of the napkin math. It's actually a little more complicated than that, because that's like they also say, by the way, if the budget's 400 million, you're supposed to double it to include advertising.
Mm-hmm.
So if it cost 400 million and they spent 400 million advertising, it would need to make 1.6 billion to break even. I do think that Disney will roll back advertising.
Yeah.
It's what they did with The Flash, what DC did with The Flash.
Yep.
They'd already spent 200 million on it, and they knew it was going to flop, so they did no ads for it. They can anyone remember a Borderlands ad that you saw on TV?
No.
I didn't see a single ad anywhere, because they knew the movie was terrible and they knew it was going to flop, so they protected themselves from it being worse. But then Hornswoggle and Peter Dinklage went in there, and they were like, "Man, my dwarfs." The whole thing is a disaster. The woke left, they tried to be woke and replace a white person with a brown person, and now they've got Israel versus Palestine.
That's what's so funny is that they could. It's like, even if they planned for this disaster, it turned out worse than they could have even planned for.
Right, it's worse than anyone could have imagined.
Yeah.
How are they going to do press tours? They're going to do press tours. Everybody's first question is going to be, "What's it like working with a terrorist? What's it like working with a terrorist sympathizer?"
Yep.
They will literally not be able to do any press. People in chat, I didn't even know there was a Borderlands movie until Jeremy covered it. Mm-hmm. I had a Borderlands video, and I never do this. I had a Borderlands video covering how bad it did in the box office, and I didn't even release it because I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody cares about this movie. And I never record a whole video and an intro and don't release it. But I was like, nobody cares about this movie. I know my video is going to flop.
Yeah.
It's like, I've been trying to do less videos, but better videos, like better topics. So I was like, well, I'll just delete it. I guess I could have put it out on Quartercast, so it could live on. Maybe I'll still do that. But yeah, this movie. So, and then, but then she then tweets out "Free Palestine" because she can't help herself.
Yeah. She blocked me.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. So then she uses her. Yeah, she uses it. She was also
hers.
Well, she was also one of the ones that were at the forefront of getting Gina Carano canceled.
That's right.
She said vile stuff about Gina Carano. So if you see she does her, and remember, "Free Palestine" from who? The terrorists that you elect to run it? I'm not exactly sure what she's talking about. But then you see "Free Palestine" from what? The regressive and genocidal terrorist government that hate women. 12,000 likes. And of course, Jews aren't happy about that for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So like everybody who's like in the media is pissed, and like you see this Israel envoy publicly slams Rachel Zegler. Snow White film faces anti-Israel boy. Everybody's boycotting it.
I know they're not going to be able to win with this at all. And I still think that was a dig too at Gal Gadot.
That's how I titled my video. I titled my video like Rachel Zegler attacks Gal Gadot.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
She's jealous of her. And even when you see the recent D23 stuff of them doing interviews together, you see them standing next to each other, Gal Gadot smiling, being professional and cheerful disposition. And then you've got Rachel next to her with, you can tell it, I don't want to be here smile on her face. She just looks irritated and annoyed to be there next to Gal. And I mean, that's one thing that sets them apart and makes them so different, is that Gal Gadot is somebody who isn't some legendary actress. She's not some like her acting ability isn't necessarily next level, but people love her because, well, first of all, she's beautiful, nice to look at, but she's a professional. She handles herself well in interviews and stuff. She doesn't come off as this narcissistic, egotistical person, and she's just likable. And that's something that Rachel Zegler lacks, and that's something that makes her look more unattractive, is the attitude. Yeah,
I would say that like if I was like saying, by the way, again, I'm, we all know I'm extraordinarily attractive, but I don't generally comment on women's looks just because I think it's a bad look anyway. But like, if I was, because it's up in the conversation, she's very mid, extremely average, like forgettable looking. Like any hammerhead shark at the aquarium. But like, she's not ugly. She's just like pretty whatever looking. But she can sing. I'm not going to take that away from her. But everybody in Hollywood can sing. So like, she's totally replaceable. And mark my words, I know this might be an unpopular take. She will never get another big movie role again. Ever. She spoke out against the group of people that you can't speak out against.
Yeah.
She humiliated Disney. Disney's first of all, let's also not forget, this movie was delayed a year already because of her.
Yep.
So like,
cost them even more money.
Yeah, and then they had to spend another $100 million on reshoots. This movie was supposed to be out in 2024. So because of all the insane backlash to the weird stuff, they delayed the movie a year to try and make people forget that she's an insufferable twat.
Yep.
Now she's doing it again.